ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोर्श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरतृषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषु भिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदि कवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजये आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, beginning from verse number 9. The teachings of Jad Bharat to King Rahugana. And he is explaining the role of mind, how the mind takes the central stage in our life, and we are completely under its control. And if it is under the influence of gunas, then our activities are binding, leading to pain and pleasure. If it is free from the material gunas, then one becomes liberated from the bondage. So this is what he was speaking about. Gunanuraktam dashnaya janto kshemaya nirmanam matho manasa. It is attached to the gunas, then there is vasana or suffering, and if it is free from that, then we have kshema or auspiciousness, which means one is situated in transcendence. So now he continues explaining the various vrittis of the mind. Says Ekadasha एकादशासन मनसो हि वृत्तय आकृतय पंच धियो भिमानः मात्राणि कर्माणि पुरं च तासां वदन्ति एकादश वीरभूमि. So it says that there are 11 fields for the senses to act. Mind has 11 vrittis along with the senses. Ekadasha asana manaso hi vrittaya. The vritti, as we have been speaking, are the states in the mind. And these states are what we are experiencing all the time. So 5 are related with the actions. Akriti means action, and 5 in the intellect, mind, dhiya, with knowledge. And then there is 11th one, which is related with the ego, abhiman. So it says that these are the matrani karmani param chatasa. And then these vrittis have their objects. So objects of the 5 cognitive senses or vrittis are the 5 qualities: sound, touch, taste, smell and color. And then 5 working senses, they have their 5 vrittis, which will be described in the next verse. And then the mind or the ego has its vritti in the body because it identifies in the body. So these are the 11 vrittis which keep us together here. So Sri Vishnu says that vrittir darshayati ekadas vrittya indriya rupa. So these 11 states related with the senses. Tatra panch akutaya karmakara, panch dhiya jnanakara, eko abhimano ahankara. So 5 are related with the working senses, and 5 with the knowledge senses, and 1 with the ego. Ityavam ekadasya tasam vrittinam bhumi vishaya. So the vrittis are 11 and their bhumi or field of action, they are also 11. So this he will list in the next verse. Veera hai Gyan Veera Rajan Matrani Gandhadaya Panch Gyanindriyanam Visargadi Karmani Panch Karmindriyanam Puram Deha Gehadikam Ekam Avimanasyatekam. So these 5 tanmatras, which are the qualities of material objects. So you have nose, you smell with it, so fragrance is the vritti of object, and it makes a vritti. So just as when we see some object and that makes an impression on the mind, according to science it makes a inverted image. So like that every sense actually makes an impression. When you touch something or you smell or you hear, everything makes an impression. And then we have so these impressions are of 5 types. Either they are related with color or taste or touch, which means hot or cold, soft or hard, or they are related with sound, soft or musical or noise, or they are related with smell, fragrance, good smell, bad smell. So these are the impressions which we have inside. This is the storehouse which we carry in us, basically. And then we have this working senses, they also make their vritti. those are related with their particular activity. With the hand you grasp, with the tongue and speech. So that is the subject of the tongue, talking. With the hand, when you grasp something or release, that's what you do. Anything else you do with the hand?
You can pet. Nicely, touch nicely with the hand.
That you can also touch with.
Yeah, roughly.
That is skin. When you touch, that is you are using the hand as a skin, because skin is all over the body. But the specific thing is that if you want to write, then you cannot write with your elbow. You have to hold a pen with your hand. And then the sense of hand goes into the toe. It's like some people can also hear through some hearing from here. So the sense can manifest like that. But the real purpose is in holding. You can also slap someone. That's not the purpose of the hand. And then we have Abhiman, or the ego, sense of I. So this is also making vritti, I. Because the thought, I is also a thought, right? So any thought makes a vritti. So what is the thought of I? I is always related with something. Either I am this body, I am mind, or I am intelligence. So then that becomes the subject of that vritti. Or I am the car, I am the house. Whatever you identify with. So that is the subject of I. So these are the 11 vrittis. And now he lists them in the next verse. Gandhakriti sparsha rasa sravanshi visarga ratyartya vijalpa shilpa ekadasam svikarnam mameti shayyamaham dvadasam ekahu. So he says that the 5 vrittis are, there is fragrance, color, touch, taste and sound. These are the objects of cognitive senses. So the senses are making vritti inside, they have their object outside. Because vritti is made with some object. You smell something. So that smell is the object and then vritti is made inside. That's how the outside things go inside. We are only carrying impressions of things from outside inside. We really don't see anything. Although we say that I see this, I see that, or I smell. Actually we don't see anything. What we see is only an impression of an object. And Buddhist philosophy says that we actually don't see anything. Because he says that whenever you see anything, you only see one part of it. So you are not seeing it. You only see the front side. I don't know whether the back side you exist or you don't. So you don't see any object completely. There is nothing you see full. You only see a part. And part is not the whole. So when you say that you see a book, you are actually telling lies. Because you are not seeing the book, you are only seeing one part of the book. When it is kept, the bottom part you don't see, this side you don't see. So therefore Buddhist philosophy says that nothing really exists because existence is known by knowledge. If you have knowledge of something, then you know that it exists. And if you don't have knowledge of something, how do you know that it exists? And since nothing you see complete, so nothing really exists. How do you like that, Lakshman? Is it right or is it wrong?
It's right, yeah.
No. I mean, you have the knowledge what you have. Partial knowledge doesn't mean that you
Now, suppose you don't have knowledge of something, does it exist?
No, it's not.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have knowledge of anything properly, how do you know that it exists?
You're using the example of the book that you can have only a partial vision of the book. So this partial vision means that you can perceive a part of that object.
So, but how do you know that it is a book? Because you only see one side.
Because you've seen other
No,
books
it's
before.
the experience.
You've seen other books before, so there's knowledge.
Whenever you see, you never see it completely. Even before. You cannot see anything fully. Because your eyes only cover, I don't know, maybe 180 degree or maybe a little more, 200 degree. They don't cover 360 degree. Because there are 6 sides to every object. There is front side, there is back side, there is right side, there is left side, there is top and there is bottom. You cannot see all. If you have to see all, you have to go around, but then when you are seeing the other side, you don't know what is there on the other side. Maybe it is not there.
No.
So we see you half,
Yes.
and the second half doesn't exist.
Who knows?
There are two different things.
This is logic.
It sounds illogical, but it's really logical.
And then they say that actually you cannot see anything. And the reason is, let's teach little bit Buddhism. You should know this Purva Paksha. You cannot see anything, Lakshman, because everything is changing every second. To see something, that thing must exist for some time. At least it should exist for 2 seconds, but it's changing every second. So when you go to see it, it's already changed something else. And before you see it, it is already changed, already changed, already changed. So you don't see. And everything is changing. Because we know that everything has a beginning and everything has an end, right? Now it has a beginning and it has an end, so from beginning to end it must change.
Changed so many times.
And since it is changing from beginning to end, it must be changing continuously. It doesn't change. Like a child takes birth and then dies. It doesn't die just like that. It's dying every minute. So change is happening every second. So how can you see?
When you see the change,
How can you see the change?
if you observe a tree, for example,
And you observe a tree, when you observe it's already changing. It's changing.
it's changing, but you can observe every change.
No, for something to see it has to be stable. Otherwise how do you see?
Nothing is stable in life.
But you don't see. That's what Buddhist people say. So don't worry too much about things. They don't exist. You're worrying unnecessarily. So sarvam kshanikam kshanikam, everything is momentary. And therefore they take rest. So that is their philosophy anyway. Let's not worry about that for the time being. So he says that these are the objects which our senses are perceiving. We perceive smell, we perceive shape, color, we perceive some touch and taste and sound. And Visarga Rati Arti Vijalpa Shalpa. And then we have hands with which we have hold or you release something. These are the objects. And then Rati is for the genitals, sexual pleasure. And Arti Gaman is for the feet, move in the feet. And Avijalpa is for the speech. And Shilpa is for the hand. So these are the 10. And then it says, Ekadasa Svikarnam Mameti Shayamaham Vastasam Eka. Then some people say there are 12. One is I and also my. So sometimes we say I am the body, sometimes we say this is my body. So therefore those two are there. So I is related with body and my is related with possessions. So when you say this is my body, there is a vritti, we have the ego, and the object is the body for that. So these are 12 vrittis. Matradini Vivranoti Gandhaiti. So he is describing that there are 5 of these. Panch Nasikadinam Gyanendriyanam Vishya Akriti Rupam. Akriti means rupa, form or color. Visargadaya Panch Payuvadinam Karmendriyanam eva. Thus Artir Gannam Sukriyate. Svikarnam Ekadas Puram Abhimanasya Vishayamaham. So these are there accepted. We accept them. Eke Acharya Abhimanasya Dvavidhyatmameti Omkarasya Sayyam. So sometimes they make 2 out of ego. Then these are 2 types, I and my. Gehadikam Ekadasam Ahamiti Ahankarasya Sayyam Dehim Dvadasam. So body is compared here to like a cot in which they sleep. So this is what is described. There is some note. This Veera Bhavacharya is writing. Now he says, Svikarnam mamidam sirah mamayam hasta ityade bhimanina Svikarnam svikaryam. That we accept this is my hand, this is my head. Sariram abhimanasya vishaya. And therefore body is the object of abhiman or ego, this identification. Tadekadasam vadanti, they are 11. Ayam artha, sariram abhimanasya na gyayataya gandhadivad vishaya. So he is explaining a little bit more that when we say that fragrance is the object for the nose, so there what it means is that fragrance is the object of knowledge which we receive through the nose. Knowledge always have subject and object. Because knowledge is somebody has it and it is about something. So which means that knowledge has a content. There is no knowledge without content. we have an object which we see, and then we have the knowledge of that object inside. So knowledge is inside and object is outside. And there is a relationship between those two. And the relationship is that object is that which is knowable or known, and knowledge is the medium through which you know it.
So Prabhuji, a good example of that would be like an example of a raindrop.
Raindrop?
Raindrop.
What is that? What is raindrop?
Drop of rain.
Yeah, but what is the example?
Well, we have knowledge that of rain because of the drop, or the drop because of the rain, or something like that. The guy.
No, he's not saying, he's just talking simple. You see this, then this is a black color. Right?
Yeah.
So by seeing this you are getting knowledge that this is black.
Right.
So this is the object of knowledge. You have knowledge in your head that this is black, right?
Yeah.
But this is the object of that knowledge. So knowledge always has an object. Knowledge is never without object. This is where Mayavad and Vaishnavas fight. Because they say that Brahman is only consciousness. And we say that how can it be just consciousness? It must be conscious of something. It can be just consciousness.
So the drop is part of the rain. Isn't that the same thing? You know it's not.
So he says that when we talk about the vritti, I'm just trying to explain vritti. I don't know if you're getting it or not. Or maybe is it boring?
No, it's fine, it's fine. If you want to,
Testing us tonight.
So when you see an object, like when you see this bookmark, it makes an impression in your mind. When the light is falling on it, when it falls on your retina, it makes an image and then that is transferred. And then it goes and lights up some neurons in your brain. So there are different parts of the brain which perceive different color, sound, taste. It's not that the same part is perceiving. So that neurons which lit up in your brain, that is called vritti in Sanskrit. Makes a vritti. Right? So that vritti is about this. This is the object of that vritti. Vritti is inside your brain and the object of that vritti is outside, right? Is it clear? So that's what he's saying, that, and then this object is the gear, this is the thing to be known from that. Yeah, that vritti is telling you about this, and this is a bookmark. So this is called the object of knowledge, or that which you know. And vritti itself is the knowledge. That vritti itself is the knowledge. Knowledge is not something else. If I ask you what is knowledge, probably you cannot define it. So that neurons which are lighting up in your brain, that is the knowledge. So that's why I say that I know this is a bookmarker. Because of that light. If that light is not there, you will not know. So those people whose brains are damaged, they may have eyes to see, but they cannot see because the vritti is not being formed.
So the concept that you're presenting to us, until we understand them, they're not vritti, because we can't identify them because we don't understand them yet. But the day we understand them, then they become part of what we know, of our knowledge. And then we can know, when you'll talk about that word, that we recognize it.
Well, this is a very interesting question you pose. There are two things. One is that making vritti. Vritti is made whether you know or you don't know. If your eyes are looking at it, it will make vritti. But to know, you have to be aware of it. So there are two things. One is that this is a bookmarker. That is one thing. Another is that I know this is a bookmark. So in the first part, only the vritti is made. You are not aware of it. In the second part, you are aware that this is a bookmark. So this is the difference. So vritti is made even if you are not aware. Even when you are walking on the street, you may be thinking of something, your eyes are open, the vritti will be made. You may not be aware of it. So when you walk, different people will see different things. There may be a dentist shop outside on the road, but till the time you have a toothache, you probably never pay attention to it. And when you have a toothache, then you realize actually there was a dentist shop here. I didn't know this. Because you didn't bother about it. So that vrittis are made. And these vrittis are continuously being made in our mind. Because continuously there is sensation coming from outside. And there are 11 types of vrittis. He is making, actually he will say that there are hundreds and thousands of types later on, but there are 11 categories. And then in each category there are so many types, because fragrances of so many types of tastes, so many types of color, shapes, forms we are seeing. Every vritti is unique.
But there must have been also somebody before to tell us this is a bookmark, otherwise we would not know, no? What
Yeah,
is it?
so therefore even
There
when
must be something already before.
yeah, then you have to learn. That is called to understand the meaning of the word. So even if you don't know what it is, the vritti is being made. Suppose I show you something new object and you don't know what it is. You still make the vritti, but you don't know what it is. So you don't know what it is means that the object is there, and you may even know the name of it, but you don't know what it is, it may explain. So then you make a relationship. So inside you have the word bookmark. And then I have this object here, and then you relate these two things. This is a bookmark. So first somebody has to tell you that this is a bookmark, or you may read it somewhere, the word bookmark, but you don't know what is the meaning. Then you open the dictionary, and then it says bookmark, and then it says it is something which you keep to mark the book where you are reading. So you get an idea of this is what bookmark. But we learn words also, not that every time somebody is telling. Or you hear somebody talking, and he says, can you pass me that bookmark? So you know the meaning of can you pass me, but you don't know the meaning of bookmark. So you see that person lifting this up and giving, and you know this is bookmark. So there are various ways that you understand the meaning.
But you were saying that when we are walking, the vritti are made in our brain without being aware of it. We are not aware of it.
Yeah, you may not be. Many
Yeah.
times we are not.
I mean, when we walk, we can't be aware of every object that the eyes are looking. And thousands of millions of objects if we walk around or you see. But then, according to what we need, we somehow they become activated.
Yeah, whatever you are interested in, that you become aware of it. Not active.
So the interest is there.
When you are interested in something, then you become aware of that thing. Because mind is becoming aware of things in which it has interest. And things in which it does not have interest, it does not care for them. So now he says that when we say that body is the object of ego. So he says it is not object of ego in the sense of that it is object of knowledge. Just as we say that the nose smells and you have the vritti, the object of that vritti is the fragrance, which means it is a knowable thing. You know it. Like that, ego has its object as the body, but it is not in the sense of knowable, that this is, ego knows the body in that sense. Just like the nose smells fragrance, like that ego is not knowing. That's what he is saying. So he says, it's a very important point he is making. Sariram abhimanasya na gyayataya gandhadivad vishaya napi karyataya visargadivat kintu mama iti swashestaya svikarityam. So here the object of ego is not in the sense of knowing it, but in the sense of possessing it, that it is my body. So when you have, say, eyes seeing an object, that object is known through the eyes and it is an object of eye in the sense that eye knows it. When ego has the body as its object, it is not in the sense of knowing it, but it is in the sense of possessing it, that it is, I possess it. So ego just feels the ownership over it. Eyes don't feel ownership. When I is seeing some object, I don't think that I own it. So I, which sees, is a different type of I. That is EY, EY. And the other I, the one which possesses. So this is what is saying. Iti vivekanam eva shariram mama bhimana vishayam iti vadanti. Prayana svikarnam mama bhimanasya vishatvena uttam avivekanam tu shariram aham abhiman vishayam iti tadavipayam. So he says that those who have knowledge, there are two types of people who are learned and those who are ignorant. So ignorant people, for them body is the object of I, and for learned people body is the object of my. Because they understand that I am not the body, I am separate. So they will use the word my. And ignorant people identify with it, so for them it is I. I am this. So that's why they say that some people need 12 vrittis, not only 11, because of I and my. And therefore he says that he calls it as a bed, because you like sleep in it. Sayyam aham dvadasam eke kechidam ahankara anatmani atma tadatma mahanrupastam dvadasam vrittim tasyam shabhutam sayyam shariram dvadas visham jao jivo yata svaswarup yamohena sharira shrete vasti shariram shaya shabdena. So he is sleeping in that, therefore it is called a bed. Speaks more, that is a little bit more technical about the working senses. I think I will leave that you will get completely bored. Itself is already too much. Sahas dravya swabhavashaya karma kalay एकादशामी मनसो विकाराः सहस्रश सत्स कोटिशश्च क्षेत्रज्ञतो न मिथो न स्वतस्यु. So now he says that what are the causes which make these vrittis so many different varieties. So he says that originally there are only 11, but because of the substance, because of the nature, and because of the impressions in the heart, and the actions performed and the time, then they become divided into hundreds and thousands. So number one is substance. There are various types of substance. Even if you see eye through the eye, see the color. Even if you see one color, but there are different objects in the same color. So many vrittis. So that is because of the substances. And then because of the swabhav, our own nature, what we like to see, what we don't like to see, or where we become interested. And then our samskaras. We also perceive things according to our samskaras. One person sees another person as beautiful because they like each other. Another may see that person as very despicable. So the difference is in vrittis. And then according to time, the vrittis also keep on changing. Even if you don't do anything, then vrittis keep on changing because you will keep on getting thoughts, ideas in your mind from your kalka and swabhava and this. So therefore he says there are so many types of vrittis. But these vrittis are existing because of kshetragya. That is the important thing. Kshetragya to na mitho na swatas. The vrittis are not formed by themselves or by a combination of objects. They are formed because there is living being inside. Because there is a person living inside. Because there is an Atma who is identifying. If Atma is not there, then the eyes or brain, nothing will move. So that is the cause. So Sri Vishnu Chakravarti says, Tasam vrittinam avantar bhedair anantyama. Says now he explains that how these vrittis, they are unlimited. Dravyadi bhi bhedairami vikaraha vritti rupa. Pratmam satsa tata sahasrata lakshasya kotisya sasi. He says because of the distinctions in the dravya, substance, and time, and swabhav, presence, they become hundreds, thousands, millions of them. Then he gives example of each one of them. Dravyanam chandan kasturi kumkumadinam swarna rajat pravaladinam cha anantyat. So dravya means substance. So basically we only perceive three things around us. We perceive substances and objects. We perceive qualities and we perceive movement. Right? That's how, nothing more we perceive. Either you see some objects, solid, liquid, or you perceive some qualities in them, hard, soft, sweet, sound. These are all qualities. 24 qualities according to the Shasha. 9 substances.
Qualities of the guna?
Or you perceive movement. I'm moving my hand. So you are perceiving the object hand, you perceive the color of the hand, that is the quality, and you perceive the movement. That's what you perceive. Isn't it? So because objects, substances are of various types, and there are various types of qualities, and the object has some qualities. Qualities are always in some substance, and substance is never without a quality. They are together. So there, he says, like you have olden style, you have chandan, like sandalwood. These days, perfumes. Previously, in India they were using sandalwood, kasturi. Kasturi is what? This musk which comes from the deer. And kumkum. That is. So he's just naming some objects, or gold, silver, diamond. So there are so many types of substances. And then along that we have kopi gandharupadi kasmechit rochte. And then we have our swabhav, nature, that we like something. Somebody may like musk, somebody may like sandalwood fragrance, somebody may like rose, somebody may like some kacholi. What is pacholi? So that is swabhav. Some people like some type of taste, some type of fragrance, some types of music. And that is also anantyata. And then we have the ashaya, antakarma, sishtata, dushtata, good, compassion, because they also make vrittis. Karma adrishtam, karma here is adrishta, means fate. By your fate you meet different type of people, different types of objects. You may have to hear different types of sounds. So by fate. And then by time, you are young, you are old, you are child. So various types of vrittis. Pratyekam ananta eva gandhalesyu vidyate. But it says that na tu mithasyu na pi swatasyu kintu kshetragyata parmeshwarat tasya chanam saktitvadananta. But these vrittis are not being formed by themselves or by any combination of that. They happen because of kshetragya, and he glosses kshetragya here as Paramatma. So although the jiva is there in the body, but actually jiva is also not independent. Later on he will speak about the two types of kshetragya. Kshetragya means one who knows, or the knower. So there are two types of knowers, the individual knower, ourselves, we know, and then the Supreme Lord, he also knows. So he is the prime knower and we are the secondary knower, because our knowership depends on his power. By ourselves we also are incapable of knowing, because if we do not have the body, then we cannot know. At night when we go in deep sleep, we do not know anything. So we say, I slept so deeply, I did not know anything. So why we do not know anything? Because we get cut off from the mind. So that means without the mind we cannot know. And mind is not something which is I created myself. It was given to me. So therefore our knowership is not independent. God is independent. He is Swarat. He is not depending on anyone else for knowing. We depend on others. We depend on our physical body to know. If we don't have a gross physical body, then we cannot perceive things. So that's why I say that Kshetragyata Parmeshwarat. And Parmeshwar, he says, he has unlimited power, he has this whole material creation under his control, so much variety, and therefore there are unlimited vrittis. So this is the talk of vritti. Now he is going to talk about the Kshetragya and how we can become free from the vrittis. We read that. So this is more like a Sankhya type of analysis he is doing. Although ultimately he will also speak of devotion in the last. But he is explaining more from Sankhya point of view how the vrittis are working and how we become bound by them. Okay, any question? Difficult to have question on this topic.
Well, actually, there are philosophy who talk about these verities as negative things, because once they are inside, you have a tendency to see vritis all around you. You don't really see the objects anymore, but you see the vritti, which are dead. They're not really alive like the outside. You understand?
No, say it again, I don't understand.
This vritis, they go from outside, inside, like
No,
a bird.
vritis-
You see a
vritis-
bird, and you label it, this is a bird, and it goes inside. Next time you see this bird, you see the label of a bird. This is Krishnamurti, I don't know.
No, vritti is not going from outside inside, vritti is formed inside.
Inside, yeah.
So
But
what
it's
is
a
it?
kind of a labeling, no?
Labeling what?
You label it, you give a name also to this. This is a bird.
Yeah.
Then next time you see the same bird, that's actually what he says. He said that once you label it, that's the last time you saw it.
Yeah, so what is the problem with it?
No, there's no problem. The thing is that it's become part of your ego after all this breathing.
Why?
You've been talking about how to get rid of this breathing, no?
I mean, it becomes part of you if you become attached to it. If you are not attached to it, it's like Jad Bharat was there.
But you have to learn.
Yeah. Yes, but if you don't learn,
Yeah.
then you are already attached.
Yeah.
It's not that you are born unattached.
But it's probably a Sankhya idea, like you said.
Yeah, so the attachment is already there. Thing is how to get rid of it. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what he is telling. So now you said that it is something negative. I didn't understand that. That knowing this is negative, you said.
Well, I'm talking about some philosophies, which say this. It's once you see the bird again, and you don't see the bird, you see the label, the vritti of a bird. The real bird is not there anymore. So since it is Sankhya, I was thinking maybe this Krishnamurti's philosophy also.
No, Krishnamurti's philosophy is basically to be a witness. That's all he talks about. Just become a sakshi. He doesn't say more than that.
But it's also Sankhya.
Yeah. He's basically jnani. He keeps on talking about being witness.
But if they are only on the material objects, you don't have spiritual ability?
If you can experience, whatever you experience, you make everything. Because experiences, whenever you are experiencing something, that is making everything. It's another name for it. It is the experience. So he is analyzing that how these vrittis are binding you.
Because mainly they are related to the senses and the objects, the senses and the knowledge of these things. And then you become wrong because you are attached either to taste the food or to smell anything, because you want to enjoy it or something.
So basically what you are enjoying is just a vritti.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that.
It's not the object. That is a complete.
Because whatever you like, it's only making a vritti inside. It's just a vritti. It's just some light in the hand. That's why those what you call neuroscientists or whatever, they can actually give the same experience to you by lighting up your brain. Without any object. That's what drugs also do. You basically activate some part of your brain and then you feel some sensation happiness. So you're making vrittis.
So therefore happiness and suffering is really only interpretation of the mind.
Yes.
Outside it's just how we interpret.
Chetragyeta manaso vibhuti. This verse is coming to our mind. That's how he started from the beginning. It's all the game of the mind.
Then this means that the same object can be, like, can give happiness to somebody or
Yes. Somebody likes chili, he feels happy. You eat chili, you cry. Same object. Then you are making one type of vritti because of your swabhava. That's why I said that so many types of vrittis. Because one object and different people have different swabhava nature. So that object is going to make different vrittis for everybody. For somebody it is going to make good vritti, happy vritti, somebody suffering vritti, somebody no effect. So that's all vritti are good.
You know, I know the situation of growing up, where on the weekend this man would just beat his wife. This man would just beat his wife. They would get, drink, get drunk, and on the weekend they would just be fighting and drinking and everything. And oftentimes the police would be called because they were creating a lot of noise and stuff going on. And one time the police knocked at the door and said, "What's going on?" Da, da, da. And a woman said, "Well, my husband, he's beating me like usual," and da 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 da. And
nothing special.
and the husband said, "Yeah, well, she deserved it." Blah, blah. And then the policeman said something, and then the woman said, "Well, that's my man, and if he wants to beat me, he can beat me anytime he wants to. I like him, I love it, and it's none of your business. And I don't know who called you in the first place." When I first heard that, I was wondering, wow, is she be really badly beaten? But because that's her man, and he's beating her. Well, later on, I realized this must have been a sadomasochistic relationship. I didn't know, but that's what, and they were like, living unhappily, happily, or happily, unhappily. That's how they live. We can see.
Yeah, so get conditioned to every situation.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying, that mind conditions you to think. As I was saying that one object can give happiness and distress. So anything can change. Okay.